Hello, Did Gecko here. I was just having a walk in the park where I had an idea for a story, so I've come straight back to record it without planning it or scripting it. The only idea I've got is that it's about a little robot called Tick-Tock. So this is Tick-Tock story? Let's call it Tick-Tock story. Okay. Tick-Tock wakes up. He can't remember a thing and he doesn't know what to do. He slowly stands up, looks behind him, and his back is to a wall. And connected to the wall is a plug. And there's a cable trailing round his feet, coiling round and round, and then going behind him, linking up, and hitting the back of his head. That must be where his power comes from. That must be why he's awake. So he looks around and tries to think what else he can find out. Up ahead, you can see that amongst all the dust and debris that's around him, you can see there's just something poking out. So he starts trundling towards it to have a look at what it is. And as he reaches down, starts to clear the dust, he sees there's these two bits of metal that were on a stationary compass, but it's just the ends broken off. And as he reaches down to look at them, he looks at his elbows. He sees that they're the joints from the compass. He then looks up and sees something very much like it, just up ahead. So he trundles a bit further, cable snaking through the pile of dust he's just gone through, and he finds another two pieces, slightly wedged down into the floorboards. He kneels down to try and get them out, and that's when he sees his knees look like the joints on a stationary compass. So his legs must be made of the same stuff as well. He looks up again, excited that he may be finding even more stuff, and he sees that there is a box. He goes, well, I've got to have a look at what's on top of that box, because he can't see from down here, because Tick-Tock is quickly realising that he's very small. So Tick-Tock bounds up to it, the cable bouncing along behind him, making little waves as he tries to go as fast as he can towards the box, full of excitement. He jumps up, he grabs hold, pulls himself up, lands on the box. Now, robots don't get tired, but that was hard work. But at least he made the jump. And what he sees there is all sorts of broken little mechanical pieces. And none of them seem to go together. He tries to reassemble it. He doesn't know what it is. There's some gears, and there's a leather strap, and these little metal spikes that are very small, very thin. But he can't make it all fit together. He thinks there's a component missing. And then he wonders maybe that the coiled springs that are at his feet, maybe those were taken out of this. And when he puts that together, it will make something that works. But now they allow him to bound along and find these things. Tick-Tock's incredibly excited. He wonders about the thing that's been taken apart that's no longer working anymore, so that he may be able to bound around. Tick-Tock stops in thought, wondering what he should do next. Does he want to find more broken things and find out that's what is him? Or is he going to find that he's complete and that there's nothing else beyond here? He looks around. It's very hard to see, it's quite dark. So there's just dust and bits of debris, but nothing that really catches his eye. He keeps searching and searching. He looks up. There's huge billowing curtains. So there's a slight breeze outside, but he can't see out there, and he doesn't think springs will get him up to the curtains. So he looks back to the ground, and he sees something that's it's not quite metallic. He's seen metallic, but this isn't metallic, but it's got a shine to it. It's catching some light from the window. So he's going to have to get down from the box. He uses the bending joints in his elbows and his knees. He uses the springs on his feet to get down from the box. The cable now making a bridge over the box leading to him. He bounds over to it and he looks down. It's this sort of big rectangular platform. Not a high platform like the box. This is quite low. It's barely up to his shins, or what would be his shins, except they're springs. And he looks down on it. And he recognises it. There are some buttons on one side of it. This rectangle. But then this is all black and shiny, and he can see his hands turns them round and he realises that they're slightly plasticky and padded. And on the end of the phone there are 2 holes where some buttons are supposed to be. And that's where he realises that his hands are remoulded buttons. They've been curved so that he can grip and claw and move around with them. So that's where his hands came from, attached to the compass joints. He looks down at the black shiny surface, bracing himself with his little button hands. And he sees himself looking back, with his one circular eye that he can just tell is whirring and twisting, trying to make out his own face. The thought hits him. He takes his little hands, bends the phone round. Gudunk! Dust goes foof. He looks on the back, and just as he suspected, there's a hole in the back of the camera, back of the phone, where a camera used to be. And that's how he can see. So some parts of this phone became what he is today and allowed him to see the things that he once was. Suddenly it starts to make more sense that all the other things he found, he saw because of the parts that had been given to him to allow him to see them in the first place. But he looks over the phone and he can't see anything else is missing from it. And he feels like he's not quite complete. If he was to rebuild himself, a weird concept, but Tick-Tock didn't have a thought before this, so now all that he can think of is, what is he made of? And then, as he slowly glances up, a breeze blows in from that window, and it blows a small dune of dust. And he can see, just up ahead, a massive object. It's practically the scenery around him, but now he realises it's distinct. There's a box. Doesn't know what it is, but it's very tall, taking up a lot of room. So, quite nervous now, because this is the biggest object he's seen, far bigger than the box that he jumped over before. He starts walking towards it slowly, the cable behind him getting tauter and tauter. He reaches towards it. He starts to look at it. It's metallic, but it's not shiny. It's very tall. It's cold. And on the front are all of these shapes, a bit like the buttons on the phone, but there's far more of them. He starts to peer into the cracks and crevices of it, which are very uniform, but there's certainly gaps. And as he peers in with his one little eye, he can see that there's all manner of cables and components. He starts to work out that this machine is way more complicated than the phone, and if there's anything that's part of him in there, then it was very, very important, because none of the other stuff was considered important enough to make him. And from what you can tell, most of him is complete. And then, as he focuses in, something clicks. He knows that there's something. He knows that there's something in there. One vital component that somebody else had peered into and taken just to make him. Scratches his head. Feels a black little rectangle with little metal prongs on the side. And that makes him think. Finally, he looks at the side of the box. You can see there's a switch. He wonders what happens if he hits the switch, and then that one component from the big metal box is gone. He slowly reaches towards it. The cable, incredibly taut. He reaches and reaches and reaches. He goes for the last stretch to hit the button. Pop! And that was the last that Tick-Tock remembers. Now, I guess that story is a little bit sad, but if you like this story, then please subscribe to my channel, because this is now going to be my regular project, my little pet project to make stories and be creative whenever the mood hits me. So, I hope you like this story, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.